Howdy, gang. Come on into the Man Cave. We've got a lot to get through in the next hour. Now, Sunday night is the one for the hardcores. The true fans watch us live here on a Thursday night. Thank you for doing so. Remember, highlights at skynews.com.au. Now, what do Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, Marvel Stadium in Melbourne, the Adelaide Oval and the SCG all have in common? Well, according to the numbers that were released today, they all have just enough seats for the number of people who lost their job in the past month. Think about that. Suncorp, Marvel, Adelaide Oval, SCG, in and around 50,000 seats. 35,700 people lost a full-time job last month. 17,000 lost a part-time, giving us a total 52,700. The capacity of all of those stadiums is close to that number. Some a little up, some a little down. Now, I don't know about you, but losing your job is one of the great fears of life. Now, obviously, we hope nothing happens to anyone that we know, let alone that we love. But certainly losing your job is something that a lot of people, once you hit a certain age as well, you become frightened about. Because the bills always keep coming, and maybe you've made a series of decisions that mean you probably have to work a little longer than you ever planned on doing so. But think about that. A football stadium of people who got the traumatic news that their job was over. Now today, some of the reaction to this is worth talking about because, to me, it doesn't actually reflect the emotional toll on those people. To lose your job is traumatic. It is difficult. Yet because it's all just numbers, and the numbers are being interpreted by people whose either jobs are safe, like a public servant or a politician, or they expect their jobs to be safe in the private sector, talking about it either in the media or in the economic circles, this is how it all played out tonight on some of the television newses. Now remember, the story is not the unemployment rate. The story is not the participation rate. The story is not how do we compare to other countries around the world. The story is that 52,700 people lost their job in just 1 month. That's an awful lot of trauma. Here's how it played out, however, on the 6pm news.
To news just in, and the latest report card into Australia's jobs market has just been released. The unemployment rate remains steady over February at 4.1%. That figure maintained by a fall in employment by 53,000 people.
The unemployment rate has remained stable at 4.1% in February.
It is very satisfying to see the unemployment rate remain stable.
The Australian Bureau of Statistics points to fewer older workers returning to work over the past month.
Big surprise in the sense that we did see a fall in employment.
Now, again, it is always interesting. Like if a factory shuts down and it's going to be 400 jobs, then you often read that in the headline. You know, factory closes or factory about to close, 300 jobs at risk. If a chocolate factory closes down, they send out a reporter to talk to the people as their jobs are disappearing before their very eyes. But how is it that there's just no emotion at all about a number this big? I was listening on the ABC a bit earlier today. I don't have the example for you, Bob, but it was this conversation about, well, look, you know, seasonally in January, lots of people, they go, they change their jobs, they, you know, some of the casual jobs disappear. Yeah, but that's not what happened. 35,700 full-time workers, holiday pay, superannuation, regular guaranteed income, or close to it, over 52 weeks of the year, gone, disappeared from the Australian economy. Those aren't jobs of people who are hired in the lead up to Christmas, and increasingly the retail sector. Not a lot of those jobs are front-facing. They're often about putting things into little boxes and setting them off because that's how people order things today online. So how did the Treasurer deal with this? Now, he knew instinctively that the media always gives the benefit of the doubt to a Labor government. If this many people had lost their jobs in one whack, in 1 month, and maybe it wasn't a government that most of the media liked, they would focus on the humanity. But because this is a government that they do like and they hope that this is just a thing they cover now in the lead up to the giveaways coming on Tuesday, this is how the Treasurer spoke about it today.
The labour force number today, I know we're out of time, but what does that say? Are you worried about what that number suggested in terms of maybe a softening?
Oh, we are seeing a bit of a softening in our labour market, but we've still got incredibly low unemployment by historical standards. You know, even with all the challenges in our economy, domestic and global, we've had the lowest average unemployment under this government than any government of the last 50 years.
So, I get it, politicians want to quickly pivot out, but that is the reality of what took place today. That in the past month, that many people, all of those different stadiums, again, from the SCG to Suncorp Stadium, Adelaide Oval, Marvel Stadium, which packed to the gills, are incredible places to be, full of life. But when you look at them empty, they are examples of the number of people who have families, who have to deal with the trauma of losing jobs. None of that is a moment, of course, for celebration. But also, we seem to lack compassion in often the way that we talk about these stories, and I'm not entirely sure why. Now, of course, there are some parts of the media that will do a half-day story on things like 3 million people being this close to homelessness. But, you know, it's generally only this program that'll talk about it with frequency or with persistence or consider it to be a true test of how badly things have gone under the current government. Again, watch the way the media works in the next couple of days in the lead up to the budget. Remember what their reaction was to the too little too late tax cuts. They took the annualised number and said the average person will be $1,600 better off. But of course you don't pay your tax annually if you are the majority of taxpayers in Australia, and that's pay as you go. You pay it weekly, fortnightly, or maybe your pay cycles monthly, which is why the $14 a month figure for those earning around $40,000 was the focus and why it was considered, in my view, too little too late.